Welcome back to Inside Games, the only gaming news show brave enough to say being a jerk on the internet is bad.
Ooh, that's truly brave, Bruce, in these modern times. Yeah, it seems folks in the gaming community have yet to find their chill, even about a game as universally praised as the Resident Evil 4 remake. Despite a glowing 94 average review on Metacritic, one of the game's voice actors has locked down their social media due to a flood of negativity.
The internet's just having a real one, pretty much like they always do. So, Lawrence, can you help us make sense of this, please?
Yeah, let's break it down here. So the Resident Evil 4 remake, huge hit, like we said. Critics and fans love it. Everybody's been buying it in droves. But some have taken issue with one of the voice actors in the game, Lily Gao, who voices Ada Wong in the remake. Also was in Welcome to Raccoon City.
Ada. My name is Ada Wong.
Gao's performance was criticized by some as coming off as disinterested or even bored. One reviewer called Wong the worst part of the remake. That criticism has now crossed over into real life, though, or as real as Instagram comments can get, with fans leaving thousands of comments on Gao's Instagram posts.
Stop it! Just stop!
Yeah.
Gao's Instagram account is now mostly private. There you go, you win. So recent posts and their comments are no longer visible. A Twitter account compiled some of the comments before removal, though, so which included some not very nice observations like, worst voice acting I have heard in years, and you ruined the remake. I'm not sure how she ruined it because the thing is getting glowing reviews, everybody's playing it, and everyone's loving it. Well, whatever.
Yeah, far from ruined, huh? An Ada Wong fan account on Twitter even called on gamers to leave Gao alone, writing that it was beyond unacceptable.
Yeah, they're correct. The account wrote that, quote, everybody has opinions according to their own experience, but going to her social media and even past voice actors of the character to offend her is sickening and deplorable, and it absolutely is.
And unusual, it's not an isolated case. Bruce, take us through the Hall of Shame there for a second.
Oh boy, here we go. Lots of Genshin Impact voice actors have been harassed by fans, and that's even included death threats in some cases. Of course it has. And Laura Bailey, the voice actor for Abby in The Last of Us Part 2, was harassed relentlessly after fans took issue with the actions of her character in the game because they're stupid. They're dumb, and they can't separate real life and a video game.
Yeah, you could do... I was thinking you could do a whole sociological breakdown about how fans reacted to Last of Us Part 2, but Bruce, I think you hit the nail on the head already.
They're stupid. No, they're just dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, Laura Bailey even took to Twitter to post some of the terrible stuff she received, and it was over the line. You know, you can say you don't like something, but holy moly, be civilized about it. It even prompted the game's director, Neil Druckmann, to comment saying, Laura doesn't deserve any of this.
That's correct. Believe it or not, some folks take it even further than saying, quote, I'm going to find where you live and slaughter you. All right, we're going to get into that whole mess after a quick word from our sponsor, Factor.
Today's episode of Inside Games is brought to you by Factor, soon to be your solution for convenient, nutritious, and efficient gamer meals. That's right, it's convenient, it saves time and alleviates stress because you don't have to worry about the prep or the mess. Some meals come together in minutes, taking the guesswork out of what to make for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Factor even offers meals for those looking to follow keto, low-calorie, and vegan or vegetarian lifestyles. It's a pretty big thing with me. It can be really difficult to find quick prep or packaged meals in the 400 to 500 calorie range. And speaking of meals that are well over 500 calories. No more takeout. No more. We're done with that. It's 2023. Factor helps you avoid fast food and ordering in with no nonsense delicious food that's ready quickly. Factor's chef-prepared meals take the guesswork out of eating well, so you don't end up eating something convenient but horrible for you. Grab a prepared smoothie or keto shake for a quick snack, or heat and eat a chef-quality meal in just 2 minutes with no prep or cleanup necessary, so you can stay focused on what you love to do. For me, that's gaming. Factor helps me stay fed and happy when I'm pulling really long streams. So use our link or go to go.factor75.com and use code POGINSIDEAPR50 for 50% off your first box. Once you click, my description will actually update live to count all the purchases, so that's cool. Thank you very much, Factor, for supporting Inside Games. All right, thank you, Factor. Last we left the story, gamers had just invented an all-new, even more horrible way to harass folks that perform in the video games they apparently love. So, Bruce, ruin our faith in mankind a little more, if you please.
Oh, man. Earlier this year, Vice reported that a number of gaming voice actors were doxxed and harassed in a targeted attack that used AI-generated voices to harass them by doing things like reading their home addresses. Voice actor Tom Schalk, who worked on Fallout 4, said he and other actors were targeted after they voiced their dislike toward AI-generated voice technology. Now, obviously, that's just going way too far and could be illegal as well.
Yeah, it's obviously a bummer this is happening to Gao, especially because according to some interviews, she was apparently really excited to play the character of Ada Wong. I mean, who wouldn't be? Ada Wong's pretty cool.
Yeah, Ada Wong is awesome. It's not clear at this point whether she will return to voice Ada Wong in future content for the game. At this point, Capcom has not said anything.
Yeah, and I guess this is where we start to bleed over into some opinion stuff, even though I think we've made our opinions pretty clear, but Capcom hasn't said anything because I hope it's just something small and stupid, and to acknowledge it almost would legitimize it. I don't know. Nothing really needs to be said from Capcom's perspective. We mentioned this back at the beginning, but Resident Evil 4 Remake reviewed super well, and it sold 3 million units in 2 days.
Even if some people dislike Gao's performance, critics and audiences en masse enjoyed the game. Lawrence and I have played. Lawrence, you beat it? You beat the game?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's super awesome.
It's awesome. It's great. And honestly, in my opinion, Lily was a highlight. Like I thought she was kind of like a little bit of a dialed down Ada Wong, and I was into it. So I don't know, whatever. Anyways, Capcom stock is hit an all-time high earlier this week on the Tokyo Stock Exchange, you know, partly due to the game.
I don't know. Maybe Ada Wong's performance wasn't that bad. It seems like a bit of an overreaction to flood somebody's Instagram over something that, as a package whole, did this well. But yeah, Bruce, I mean, you kind of got into it a little bit. We both played the remake. What did you think about Ada Wong's character?
She definitely looked different than the Ada Wong that we all kind of know from the other video games. But I liked all the new takes. Like, I liked all the... It was... And I'm not a Resident Evil fanboy. Clearly, some of these people that were leaving comments on our Instagram are. But I enjoyed the game. And I enjoyed her performance. I enjoyed Leon's performance. I enjoyed... I think I pretty much enjoyed all the performances. The game is almost perfect. So she, in my opinion, just added to every scene she was in. I look, and you know, I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you if I don't like something. But I really just didn't see many flaws in anything in this video game. Lawrence, I don't know. What do you think about it?
I think that her performance kind of stuck out. It was a bit different, and yeah, I could see why people would call it maybe detached or bored or non-emotional. But I think that was the point. I think she was trying to play a character that was being very mysterious and tough to read, but doing it in that campy Resident Evil container, and that's what that character is like.
Absolutely. 100%.
I didn't think she was bad. And that's teetering on like, no, it's actually good that it was bad or something like that. They did it on purpose. So I don't know. There's something else about this, though, that I'll get into in a minute. But no, I thought her performance was fine, especially within the container of it being Resident Evil. Criticizing performances in Resident Evil seems silly in the first place. But speaking of criticism, though, Bruce, I'm curious what you think. Because I'm not trying to say that this was fine, because somebody had to turn off their comments. You know, nobody wants to do that. But in all the screenshots that I saw, people were just being assholes, but they weren't being... like vicious. They weren't making personal threats. So to you, Bruce, I don't know, you personally, where does it cross a line? Where does it change from I didn't like that to that's just not something that's okay to say?
I think, like, I thought a lot about this story, and I've decided that I think I'm going to take a hard line on all of this. Don't do it. So if you don't like something, don't go to anybody's personal account and shit on it. Don't pile on. Don't do any of that stuff. If you really, really need to get these thoughts out, talk to your friends, talk to your family, write it out. I mean, hell, man, like, I don't think you should even be putting it on the internet at this point. Like, there's no point to go on Reddit and dogpile on someone. There isn't. You're not doing anything for anyone, and you're only making, in my opinion, the world more negative. So, but I know you need to get your thoughts out. So I say just sit down, write it out. Like, I think if you're really feeling, you know, you're just like, Ada Wong was the worst. Like, then just write it out. Like, what? Maybe, you know, like, and also reflect inward and be like, hey, why do I feel this? What's making me so upset about it? Why is this causing such a negative reaction? But I truly think most of these people are they're just trolls. I think they're just piling on just because they think it's fun to be shitty on the internet anonymously because they're the biggest cowards in the world. So that's why I think people are doing it. I don't think they're doing it because the performance is bad. I think they're just doing it because it's easy and it makes them feel good about their shitty lives. So there you go. Yeah,
you sounds like you nailed it again, Bruce. I guess I'm a little more resigned to it. I would like to. It would be a nice world if all somebody had was just blanket negativity. If they found a different outlet for that than the commons on the internet where we all have to see it. I guess I'm a little more resigned to people being assholes. And sometimes I think people can rarely offer negative feedback that is useful and articulate and respectful. But I guess for me, I just like, you can't make, there's no law against being an asshole, you know. That's unfortunately people's freedom. So for me, I guess the line gets tripped over when it's personal. When it's not, that was a bad performance, but you are a bad person, or you are a bad performer. Or threats to someone's career, physical threats in the real world, obviously, or just insulting something about somebody instead of the aspect of the performance that they delivered. So, yeah, I don't know. You could say you don't like something.
No, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. That seems to be some people's fears. That, well, I should be allowed to say bad things on the internet. You still can. You know, you can choose to be, you could choose to even be a jerk about it if you really want to be. But yeah, there's definitely a line of morality beyond that at personal threats and personal attacks. So luckily, none of the screenshots I saw had that this time, but that doesn't mean that everyone was acting as they should have been. So, Can anything realistically be done, Bruce? Do you think if you just tell people to deal with their negativity properly, that someday we'll get to a haven of the internet where people communicate like educated folk? I don't know.
I've really tried. I've been doing this for years because, like, for years and years, like, obviously, just like anybody else, take abuse on the internet. And for a while, I would just sort of like ignore it. That's people are just like, ignore the trolls. And that doesn't work, by the way. It doesn't. I get more and more trolls. And then trolls start propagating false information because no one's there to be like, no, that's wrong. So I instead have now started to directly address it. And I have tried to appeal to people's decency. But again, if you're just having a bad day and you take out your negativity on the internet because it's easy and there are no consequences, which, by the way, is takes the least amount of balls, then they're gonna do it. And for me, I've just started getting rid of them off of my YouTube channel and like blocking them on TikTok and so that's it. I'm tired of it. But if you want to talk to me about something, you want to talk about our different opinions and stuff like that, you want to talk about how I was bad at this or I was good at whatever, totally fine. But you're right, Lawrence, there's a really, really thin line between insulting somebody personally and then also being like, I don't like what you do. Whew, boy, that's real down the line. It's tough.
I had one kind of closing thought here, which I wish people would think about more often. I don't know, to me it's, as much as I can get how Lily's performance might have stood out, and as much as I can get people being like, rah, the performer did the bad thing, targeting the performers is kind of pointless because it's a group project made by a whole raft of people. She auditioned with everyone else. Someone at Capcom chose her to do the role. She did multiple takes and they chose the one that you hear in the game to be the one to represent that character. If Capcom didn't want that and it wasn't the idea that they had and the way they wanted to make it, she wouldn't have gotten the part and they wouldn't have used those takes. So she did her job to Capcom's satisfaction and then the game went on to sell a ton. So it's the same talent that made this world-class game also made all those decisions. So why would you go after Lily for that? Which is not to say go after Capcom either, but maybe have a little more faith in their creative decisions. And if you choose to question them, maybe, like you were saying, Bruce, it's not that's bad and I didn't like it, but why did they choose it to be there? Where I was going. And that kind of links back to me thinking about her performance, and it is in this kind of campy container where it's got this history of weird line reads, and she's trying to be this shadowy, hard-to-read, mysterious force, so you can't tell her intentions and stuff like that. And I thought her scenes conveyed that really well, and were a lot of fun. So there's a way to spin your mind about everything, I guess. I just enjoy gaslighting myself into positivity, I guess. That's my technique.
I just kind of just throw it all out and just don't even worry about somebody's performance. Go talk to your friends about it. Like if somebody on the internet that you know or in real life played Resident Evil 4 Remake, you go to them and you go like, hey, what'd you think of Lily Gao's performance as Ada? And they go, oh, I didn't like it. Why? And you get to talk about it. It makes you feel good, right? Because then you get to bounce back and forth. You have a good conversation in person or on the internet, whatever else. Shitting on people, targeting performers, going onto Reddit and dogpiling, it literally does nothing for nobody. So I don't even care what the performance was about. Or like Lawrence, you provided a lot of really good logic to think about. But it's all art. It's all subjective. So everyone has their own opinion. So going to target the performance is probably the dumbest thing in the world to do, and it makes people feel bad. That's all it does.
Yeah, you said it. Well, I guess that'll do it for today's Inside Games. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, me. Thank you, you. And thank you, patrons, all of our beautiful patrons.
I've got some patrons that have never said a negative thing about anybody ever. Christian Morgan Anderson, James Bowser, Dilly Dally, and Ryan Derryberry. They're just the nicest people in the world.
Well, Bruce, I got a couple patrons here that go one better. A day hasn't gone by that they haven't said nice things about everything they see. Keeps them very busy, but they're out there countering all the negativity. I see it and I appreciate it. Brian Cosner, Kyle Heaton, Tony Varela, and Crab Foam, thanks for making the world a better place.